Hello students, hope all of you are well and welcome to yet another lesson with Mr. Mohana. So, for today's lesson, we are going to look at how to write an article. In today's lesson, first we are going to look at the format of writing an article. Then we will look at some guidelines on what are the things that you should remember while writing an article. And I'm also going to share with you a few tips or I would say writing prompts that would help you to write your article better. Unlike my other video lessons, in today's lesson, the essay that I have constructed, I've used very simple ways of constructing sentences to help students who are really struggling. So there's no difficult vocabulary. I will share another article writing technique with more complex sentences and complex ideas in my next video. So for this one, let us explore some simple ways so that when you write an article with more difficult words and complex ideas, things would become smoother for you. So, shall we get started with our lesson? And yes, before that, as usual, please look at the video description. I have shared a link to the task sheet for today's lesson. Please get that task sheet downloaded and print them out so that as you follow the lesson, you will be able to take some notes. Okay, so let's look at Alright, so before we get started with our lesson, I would like you to go to the link given on the screen to download the task sheet for today's lesson. Okay, you may pause the video, go to the link, download the task sheet and get it printed so that it would be easier for you to take down notes and write important details from today's lesson. So, if you are ready with your task sheet, let's get started with our lesson. Okay, the first thing that we are going to look in our lesson today is the format of writing an article. Okay, so the format is very simple thing in an article. You need to have a title, and then after you have completed your article, you just need to write written by, comma, and your name, just like shown on the screen. So how do you write your title for an article? So let me give you an example. Okay, let us look at an example here. Okay, so for example, the title of the article that I'm going to write today is How to Lead a Healthy Lifestyle. So the title of an article should be the first thing that you have to write before you start writing your article. Right? Make sure you write your title before you start writing your article so that you will not forget at the end of the day. Okay, after you have written your title, you start with your first paragraph. Right? Your first paragraph should consist the purpose of the article that you're going to write. Okay, the purpose of the article. So meaning to say you have to state very clearly the purpose of your article in the first paragraph so that the readers would get an idea what your article is about. Right, and after and do not introduce any points in the introduction. Okay, you can start introducing the points in the second paragraph. Okay, so the second paragraph, you start introducing your points relevant to the topic with supporting details. Remember, every point that you elaborate in your article should have supporting details. Same goes to paragraph 3. Okay, in paragraph 3, you also elaborate your points with relevant supporting details. Now, for this format, I've only given 4 paragraphs. 1 introduction, 2 for elaborating your points, and the last one is for conclusion. You may write more than 4 paragraphs, right? But just remember, the first paragraph is your introduction and the last paragraph is your concluding paragraph. Now, what do you write in your conclusion? Okay, so when you write conclusion, remember, the last paragraph would be, you will be writing a conclusion of the issue discussed throughout the essay. Do not add any new ideas in the last paragraph. Okay, and after you have done with your last paragraph, you look here. You write written by, comma, and sign out with your name. And your name should be very clearly indicated. Okay, so these are some general guidelines on how to write an article. First, you have to start your article with a title, just like how I showed you in the previous slide. Okay, you start with a title, a suitable title, and as it is published for readers to read. Okay, article is normally published for readers to read. It should be interesting. Okay, and it is up to you how you're going to make it interesting. but make sure you read and understand the given points. Okay, for directed writing, the points that you should write in an article will be given, so make sure you understand them very clearly so that you know how to elaborate them properly. Next, organize the points in paragraphs. As I said earlier, please put your points in paragraphs and add details to the points. Next, you can also add your own points. Okay, it is a requirement for you to add your own points when writing an article in SPM. It's not only an article. When you write a formal letter, informal letter, a speech, or a report, you would be required to write your own point. Same goes here. So I have asked you to add your own points. Okay, for practice purposes, if you're writing an article and the question doesn't require you to write add in your own points, try to think of your own points as a suggestion or extra points to fit into the article, so that you will be very much used to developing your own points. Alright, so the next one, also remember that to start your article with a simple yet impressive opening lines. Now, when I say impressive opening lines, doesn't mean that you have to use bombastic words, vocabulary that you yourself do not know how to use. Okay, try to make it simple. If you do not know any big words, if you do not know how to use any big vocabulary, do not use them. Okay, try to make it as simple as possible, because ungrammatical sentence would look better than a sentence written with the usage of big words which are wrongly used. I hope you understand what I mean. So try to make your paragraph impressive by writing correct sentences. Alright, so let us look at the next guideline, which is your introduction need not be long. Meaning to say, when you're writing your introduction, do not give a lengthy introduction. You see, for directed writing, you only have 45 minutes. So state what is your main idea and then finish your first paragraph and then move on to the next paragraph and start with your points. You do not need to try to impress the marker by writing a very lengthy introduction. Markers are not going to be impressed with that. So bear that in mind. And the next thing is, your article must have a smooth flow from one paragraph to the next. Yes, this is very important. So meaning to say, after you have completed one paragraph, try to relate the next paragraph to the paragraph before, so that there will be a smooth flow and link between one paragraph to another. Right? Do not make your paragraph seems to be choppy, meaning to say, after you finish one paragraph, another paragraph seems to be completely far away from the paragraph before. Okay, that's what I say, choppy paragraphs. So try to ensure a smooth flow from one paragraph to the next. So this one you can do by reading quite a number of articles in books, so that you understand how this smooth flow works. Okay, try to read the ending of one paragraph and then the beginning of another paragraph in essays, so that you understand how the flow goes. Okay, last but not least, remember to use simple and formal language. Okay, when I say simple and formal language, it means you do not use contractions, you do not use short forms. A lot of students tend to use short forms nowadays, the form of words that they use in their chat messages. Please refrain yourself from doing all that. Okay, sometimes you're so used to using short forms that you use in your short messages that you tend to use those forms in your writing. And an article should use a formal language. So remember to use the formal form of the language to describe your details or to elaborate your ideas. So now let us move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is your task for today. The health club in your school is organizing a health campaign. As the president of the club, you have been asked to write an article for your school newsletter on how to lead a healthy lifestyle. Using the notes below, write out your article. So you are going to write an article on how to lead a healthy lifestyle. So you have the do's and don'ts. Now let us look at the rubric given here. The do's are eat healthily. So meaning to say, eat fruits and vegetables, plenty of plain water, and never skip breakfast. Okay, these are the ideas under eat healthily. And exercise, where you have to give 2 ways to exercise to stay healthily. Right? So start thinking of what are the 2 ways to exercise to keep yourself healthy. Now, when you're giving the 2 ways, remember both ways should be 2 different ways. Do not give similar ways. Alright? And there are also don'ts here. So bad habits also, okay, so meaning to say when you say don't bad habits, it refers to avoiding things. For example, sleeping late, smoking, and neglecting personal hygiene. Now this seems to be quite a simple article. The reason I chose this as a task for today's lesson is because I want students to get used to writing an article before you move on to more challenging article writing tasks. So it is better for us to get started with something simple before we move on to something difficult. Alright, now in order to help you to write better, I'm going to share with you some writing prompts which may help you to develop your ideas. Right, let us look at the writing prompts. Now for this essay on how to lead a healthy lifestyle, okay, these are some prompts that you can use. You see, you are writing an article giving suggestions, okay, on how to lead a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so the most important thing that would help you in this kind of task is the use of modal verbs. Okay, so because you are giving suggestions, you are telling people how to lead a healthy lifestyle, so you can use modal verbs such as you should, telling them what they should do, you must, what they must do, and you can, giving them a suggestion on what they can do. So if you use this, the idea of modal verbs, so most of your ideas can be developed and elaborated well. Okay, and it can be grammatically correct as well. Rather than thinking of how to construct sentences, try to use modal verbs in dealing with articles like this. Okay, when there is an article asking you for suggestions, asking you to certain ways to deal with things, for example, the one that we are doing now, how to lead a healthy lifestyle, modal verbs comes in handy. Okay, so you can say you should do what, you must do what, you can, you should not, you must not, or you cannot. Okay, so these are some prompts for you to develop your main idea. And you can also continue developing the main idea by using some prompts that can help you to further develop the supporting ideas. For example, this one. Okay, this is because, so that, do not, besides, furthermore, and moreover. So these are some phrases that can help you to develop your supporting ideas after you have developed the main idea. Okay, so you write the main sentence and then you write your elaboration using these ideas. For example, let me share with you one example, this one. Okay, you should drink plenty of plain water. This is because plain water helps to flush the toxins in your body. Besides, plain water also helps to regulate your body temperature. Keep in mind that plain water is healthier compared to carbonated drinks. Okay, you see, I have used the modal verb you should as a starter, and then to further extend my idea, I have used the besides. So, based on the task that I assigned you just now, let us look at the introduction that I have done for the task given. It is my privilege as president of the Health Club to write this article on how to lead a healthy lifestyle, in view of the forthcoming health campaign scheduled to take place shortly. This article is aimed at bringing awareness to all students on the importance of some of the do's and don'ts they need to observe to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Now, in the first paragraph, I have clearly indicated what my article is going to be about, and I also added the aim of my article. Okay, I have colored them in red. So these are the two things that you can put in as your introduction whenever you write an article. Okay, reinstate what your article is about and the aim of your article. Okay, that would be a perfectly fine starter for an article, and that would be the length is just sufficient for you to write an introduction. Okay, now we are done with the introduction. Now let us go to the main points. Now the first point, eat healthily, and it is about fruits and vegetables. Okay, so let us see. Health is wealth, as we all know. But in order to stay healthy, it is important to follow a regimented way of eating and exercising. Firstly is to eat healthily. Eating healthily includes consuming a good amount of fruits and vegetables on a daily basis. Fruits and vegetables contain all the essential nutrients to keep our body healthy. Besides, they will also promote good bowel movements whereby we can avoid being constipated. Okay, so if you look at the idea in red, okay, I have that is where I talk about eating healthily. And the firstly is to eat healthily is to indicate, I use the phrase eat healthily given in the rubric to put in my paragraph. Then further, the lines in purple is extending the idea of fruits and vegetables. So second paragraph done. So I'm moving to the next paragraph now. Now, plenty of plain water. The next thing that we must never fail to do is to drink plenty of plain water. Doctors advise us to drink at least 8 glasses of water every day. Do not resort to drinking carbonated drinks like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, etc., as they will only bring health issues in the long run. Okay, so for this, okay, if you notice one thing, I've put in the main ideas in every paragraph in the first line. Okay, the first thing I put is the main idea. Okay, then I put in the supporting details. For example, this one, if you see here, we must never fail to do is to drink plenty of plain water. The first thing I put. Okay, then all these are the supporting details for the plain water. This is to ensure that your main idea is stated clearly at the beginning of the paragraph. This is the safest thing to do, as markers will easily identify where your main idea is. Okay, and it's easy for you to score as well. So try to use this as a way to write. Do not start with flowery ideas and then put the and then change the structure of the idea drinking plenty of plain water in so many different ways that markers do not understand what you have written. A lot of students do that, and at the end of the day, we do not know what they write and they lose marks. Okay, so be careful with that. Now let us go to the next paragraph. Never skip breakfast. Make sure that you never skip breakfast. See again, the first thing I put is the idea of never skipping breakfast. I put it in the first line. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So take in cereals, eggs and milk to sustain you till lunch. Avoid taking snacks in between meals as they will only suppress your appetite. Okay, so now what can you see here is my supporting ideas. I have added examples of what you can eat for breakfast. Okay, now giving example is also a way of writing supporting details. But remember, you do not give example for every single idea that has been given. That would make your essay very uninteresting and lack of variety. Okay, so you can give examples, okay, but choose which point you want to add examples in, right? Okay, now let us go to the next one. Okay, ways to exercise. So I have shared here 2 ways. Let us look at the first way. Next is to exercise every day. Brisk walking for at least 20 minutes a day early morning. You can also go for short walks in your housing area or around the jogging track. Refuse to take car but instead try walking to the nearby grocery shop. It will also be a great help to stay healthy. Okay, this is way 1. Let us look the second way. Whenever possible, take the stairs instead of the lift. In doing so, you are exercising your body. It will help in your blood circulation and to maintain a glowing complexion. Right? Okay, so that's the 2 ways to exercise. Now, let us continue with the don'ts. Okay, in this part, I'm sharing the idea of sleeping late as a bad habit. So let us see what I have written here. To lead a healthy lifestyle, we must avoid bad habits such as sleeping late. When we sleep late, we will have insufficient sleep, causing us to be lethargic the next day, which in turn will affect our performance at school. Now, here I'm sharing you the consequence of sleeping late. Okay, as a bad habit, why sleeping late is a bad habit, what will happen if you sleep late. Okay, keep this as a tip. Okay, if you do not know how to elaborate your idea, you can always elaborate by telling the consequence of things. Okay, for example here, sleeping late. Okay, what are the consequences of sleeping late? That can be your supporting ideas. Okay, and why you are saying it as a bad habit. Now, smoking. Okay, we all know smoking is bad. Okay, I'm sure you all will be able to elaborate this well. So I don't have to explain to you. I'll just read out what I have written here. Smoking is to be avoided at all costs. as it will result in lung cancer and other related complications. Being addicted to smoking will eventually cost you your life at a very young age. Okay, so done. Let us go to the next one. Okay, neglecting personal hygiene, another don't. Okay, neglecting personal hygiene is also to be avoided. Following good oral hygiene from young age ensures healthy teeth and gums. Brushing your teeth twice a day, flossing and taking lots of calcium-rich food is a must in order to have strong, healthy teeth. Good oral hygiene will prevent bad breath too. Okay, here personal hygiene. I focused on oral hygiene. Okay, so you can also put in other personal hygiene. For example, very general thing. For example, taking bath twice a day. Up to you how you want to put in the personal hygiene thing. So oral hygiene is one of the ways of taking care of our personal hygiene. So that is why I'm putting here the oral hygiene. Okay, now the last thing is the conclusion. Now, your conclusion is a summarized version of what you have elaborated throughout the essay. So, I'm concluding my essay here like this. In conclusion, if you follow these simple but effective steps in your daily life, you will be well on the road to leading a healthy lifestyle. Done. Okay, tada! Done. Okay, so very simple way. Okay, so this essay, if you see, it's very simple. I did not use many difficult words like how I used in my previous videos, just to help some of you who may be struggling to write essays. So now, once you have finished watching this lesson, okay, you can look at the task sheet. Okay, I have given to you a table where you can complete all these ideas on your own. Okay, try to do on your own. Okay, and then try watching the video again and compare your answers. Okay, and you may try to look at some of the ideas here and then write them down in the task sheet for self-improvisation. Okay, so if you have any question, please feel free to type them at the comment box. Alright, and that is all from me, Mr. Mohana. Till I see you again, thank you and bye-bye.